Hello, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good. Which grade are you in?
I'm in grade 6.
Grade 6. And which school are you from?
I'm from Gitanjali Primary School in Begumpet, Hyderabad.
All right, that's nice.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good as well. Let's just wait for another 5 minutes for everybody else to join in, and we'll take it from there. Have you all registered for the summit?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And are you guys working on your presentations? Students of class 12th at Sanjay Kodawat, can you all hear me? Okay, great. Mm, Shall we start? Okay, so I will quickly introduce you guys to what we do and who are we as a team. So we're called Metamorphosis, where we are dedicated to instill the entrepreneurship skills and fuel the spirit of entrepreneurship skills to across students of all age, right? And we would like to help students on their journey of being able to nurture their business ideas at a very young age. So we've realized that students don't receive any formal education on entrepreneurship at a school level, and however they do have some ideas, they want to explore different ideas, and we provide them the platform and framework to ensure that their ideas go to execution and are able to see light of the day. In accordance to what we do across schools in India, we've launched a platform called Global Schoolpreneur Summit, where we help students present their business ideas in front of a jury. The jury comes from various backgrounds depending on the sectors that we have, and in accordance to that, then there are, then there's feedback given, some ideas are selected. Some of these ideas we, provide funding for them so that they can take it forward, etc. So this year again, this is the 5th year of us doing the Global Schoolpreneur Summit. Last year we had about, I think, 12,000 students participate from across India, and we, in the finale, we had 3 winners who really stood out and their ideas stood out. Of course, this year also we are seeing a lot of people from the previous editions participate again with refined business ideas. This year, some of the cool things that we're doing for students of Global Schoolpreneur Summit is we will be, so there are 3 rounds this time around. I'll quickly talk about how you could participate, when is the last date for registration or application to the summit, how you guys can invite your friends, anybody, etc. So we will have, so our applications close on October 10th. Our first round, which is the idea validation round, wherein we validate your business idea. The results for that will get released on October 15th, and October 10th is the deadline. Sorry, October 15th is the deadline to submit those ideas. Basically, in idea validation, you all will have to state your problem that your business idea, that your startup is trying to solve, and then how are you going to execute this business idea at a large scale level, or even on a small level. How is your particular idea solving a problem that your target audience may have? So this is this is a very simple step. You could do it in a Word document, you could present it in a PPT, you could record a video and send it out in any way which you feel comfortable. Up to 4 to 5 students can participate in one idea, where say for example, a bunch of you have an idea and you want to, come together and work on a group project. You guys can definitely do that. Just let me admit these people. I can. So you guys can work on your idea like that. The next round, so on this round is where a lot of the ideas will get filtered out. So out of all the applications that we'll receive, we will shortlist about 1,000 ideas who will go to the next stage, which will be the idea evaluation stage, where we will judge your ideas based on different criteria that are there. So currently we have about 6 categories under which you all can present your ideas. So you can present your ideas in the category of sustainability, in edtech, you can do it in e-commerce, you could do it in quick commerce, healthcare, you could do it in agri-tech, or you could even present an idea under the CSR field, which is your corporate social responsibility. So who all can participate in this event? We have about 3 age groups that can participate in this event. We have our juniors, where it's from grade 3 to 5. We have our sub juniors, which is grade 3 to 5. We have juniors from grade 6 to 8, and then we have seniors from grade 9 to 12. So there is one, so I've earlier mentioned that, up to 5 people can participate in one idea. So, however, the categories can be only one. So if there are 5 people, we would want those 5 people to be from grades 9 to 12. So they are all seniors or they're all juniors. So we can't have a sub-junior and a senior participating in the same idea. In case they're siblings or cousins or something like that, that would not be fair to the other participants. So for example, if 5 members from your apartment or from your community want to participate, we'll have to ensure that all of them are either in the senior, junior, or sub-junior category. So just going back to the entire process of idea validation, idea evaluation, at the second stage, where 1,000 ideas will be selected, we're going to judge those ideas in the 6 categories that I've mentioned. And at this point, we will be shortlisting over 100 participants. Will then go on to the final stage, which will be the jury interaction stage, where all of you can present, the 100 finalists will present their ideas to different members of jury, right? And towards the end of this, in around December, we will shortlist 18 ideas across these categories and sectors, who will go on to execute their ideas on an industry level, where so all these 18 ideas will be incubated by our accelerator lab, and we will provide you all the mentoring, all the support that you need to take this idea to actual market, right? Outside of this, why should students participate? One, of course, it's a great learning experience to see where you are, just to compare yourself in on a national level, to see how strongly you can, you're able to present your ideas. For seniors, it's a great add to their CV when they're applying for the universities, either in India or abroad. Outside of this, of course, you all will get certificate of participation, certificate of merit. The top 100 ideas that will face jury interaction will all get memorialized in a coffee table book, which we will be launching in January. The 18 winners will get to star in a show called Planet of Entrepreneurs, which we will stream on an OTT platform, something like a Disney Hotstar or a Netflix. We are yet to finalize which platform that is, but all the 18 winners will, get their own junior or, school Shark Tank series called Planet of Entrepreneurs. So these are some of the perks, I would say, of participating. Of course, there is also funding. We have a fund lab of about 10 lakhs where we will incubate all your ideas based on which stage your idea is at and how much funding it needs to go to the market. And then, of course, there will also be 18 under 18 category, which all the 18 winners will be awarded with. These are some things. Does anybody has any questions so far? One question, half a question. Anybody from grade 12 at SGIS? No, yes, maybe. Sanskriti, do you have any questions? No? Okay. So today we would be discussing about what are some of the business opportunities in, say, healthcare and sustainability. I would like to start by asking a question. When I say healthcare, what comes into your mind first? What is the first thing? What is the first business that comes to your mind?
I'm hospital, ma'am.
Hospital, great. Who was that? Was that Sanskriti? Sorry, I couldn't see. Who was
My
that?
name is Rishita, ma'am.
Hi, Rishita. So, okay, hospitals, and any other thing that you can think of when somebody mentions healthcare? Yes, ma'am. Yes, Sanskriti.
Yes, ma'am. When I first think of healthcare, the picture in my head is a picture of a pharmacy and delivering
Very nice. Okay.
medicine to people.
Okay. And can you think of any company or any app that is delivering medicines online?
Ma'am,
Yes, please tell me.
Apollo 24/7.
Right. So, yes. So, this is one great business opportunity and business idea that Apollo had, where they realized in pandemic, and I think even slightly before pandemic, that one of the challenge for people is, it's very difficult for them to sometimes, if they need medicine in emergency and they don't have transport and the pharmacy is quite far from their house, how do they get hold of medicines? Or if they need it early in the morning, but they can't travel during the night, so they get medicines delivered. So that's one of, the business opportunity that healthcare has to offer. Any other business opportunities that you guys think are there in the healthcare segment? Think. I'm sure you guys will get a couple. Yes, tell me. Ramana, would you like to give a shot?
Ma'am, ma'am, nowadays you people are getting heart attacks, ma'am. Like
Okay.
if we provide a number, the person can call the number and the doctor can go and do the first aid at the house, ma'am.
Okay. And have you seen this happen in your family or friends?
Ma'am.
No.
But in the neighborhood.
Okay. So you have seen this physically happen where somebody maybe in your apartment complex, and they had an emergency where they called the doctor at home.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Can starting a informative website about all say about all the medicines or all the healthcare problems, can that be a business opportunity where you start a blog in healthcare? Do you guys think that can be a good business opportunity?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
By creating a blog on a website, many people will be influenced by it, especially if the blogger is somebody big. So, if more people can know about the medical problems and raise awareness, then maybe more medical sectors can, accept all the demands and help more people.
Right. That's a great way of looking at it, right? So for example, now just taking from your idea, let's bring it down, let's say for example, let's tone it down a bit, right? So for example, if you become a nutritionist or if you become a psychologist, can you then start a business? Can you, instead of working at a big hospital, can you start your own agency, or can you start your own model where you become a nutritionist and then you take on clients and you develop certain uh, ebooks for them where they learn more about healthy eating, and they follow a healthy diet. From there on, can you guys think of any business ideas that can pop up? Like for example, if Sanskriti becomes a psychologist in the future, can she write books on or ebooks on anxiety, and then reach out to more audience in the form of her books? Because would that, do you think that's possible?
Yes, ma'am. I would say that could be possible, ma'am.
Right. And maybe another business idea could be, there are so many equipments in hospitals, right? Like the many equipments, right? So can you start a business where you give out these equipments, or you start distributing these equipments, you bring them from other countries, you make sure that they are working and they're in a good uh, condition, and you get the best resources, pull these resources from different countries and distribute it to hospitals. Do you think that is a good business idea? Okay. How about the class at Sanjay Godavat? Do you guys want to share any ideas? I can see a lot of smiles, but I can't hear any answers. Yes, no, maybe.
Ma'am, it's a good idea where we can make a lot of money, ma'am.
Okay. And do you think what do you think makes an idea good? Is it the fact that it's solving a problem to a lot of people, or that it's making a lot of money?
Like in sometimes in small areas, small villages, the doctors don't have enough resources, and there are
Right.
many doctors. So
Right.
whereas we can like just build a huge building or like a huge hospital, and
Right.
like we can make them as a partner there, so they can
Right.
and we'll invest a little. So we'll have equal equity there
Right.
and operate the business like that way. So their expertise, our business, everything.
Right. And how, I mean, what other ideas do you think can come from, having that one resource or having that one building in that village? How can you think you can maximize the potential of the reach that you have in that village?
So basically, that will be a multi specialist hospital, right?
Right.
So will be a one-stop solution for every disease or every infection, whatever.
Right.
That will help the like for eye doctor, we need not go to any other place for like everything will be in the same place. So that will save time for the customers, patients.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you think you can also have like a pathology lab there? So, for example, if they need to get any tests done, instead of, going to another city or the closest city that they have, they can, get all the tests done in the hospital itself. Do you think that could also be another segment of the hospital?
Yes, so like we can add everything almost like whatever we get in a hospital in a private city, like
Right,
urban city. So
right.
we can provide everything there.
Okay. And I think another good idea could be where, you don't need all the equipment. Maybe in such a hospital, you don't need all the equipment. So, is there a business idea where you lend these equipments for a certain time for a certain money, like for example, if there's an ECMO machine, you might possibly not need it in a very small village, but there might be a case where they need it temporarily for say a month or two. So do you think that's a good idea where you lend out these machines?
That can be another business idea because like what we can do is when there are huge machines in like in pharmacy, huge machines we need. So what we
Right,
can that there can be a business where they can rent out different equipments,
right,
hospitals for a time or whatever.
right.
So that can be done. So, yeah.
Interesting. And how about just like what are some of the ideas that have come out in pandemic? Like if you guys can think of any top three business ideas that have come out of healthcare in pandemic, could
There
be a
was
small scale idea or a large scale idea, that's fine.
like there was one business idea like for remote like for the blood transfusion, like
Right,
those people suffering with cancer, they need to change the blood, right?
right. Okay.
Increasing urea in the blood. So yeah,
Right.
so there was one business idea in Mumbai, I guess,
Okay.
which they were transporting remote blood transfusion so that because mostly cancer people suffering are old mostly.
Right.
So it will not be a problem for them to go till there and everything. So that can be easy.
Right. I think another very small business, I mean, very small idea that started and, it just snowballed into something very big is masks, right? People started making cotton masks, they started making different kind of surgical masks, oxygen masks, different sorts of masks, right? So that was one business idea that came out of the pandemic. Another was lending oxygen cylinders at home for people who really needed that extra oxygen to just make it through, their issue. So these are some of the healthcare ideas that people can work on. And maybe at a school level you guys have an idea on how to manage. So because there are a lot of people working in hospital, right? There are doctors and nurses, there's admin staff. So how can we monitor who's working at what time? So could we look at digitizing the records of people who are working, right? So these are some tech based ideas that can come out of healthcare sector. Now another sector that I wanted to discuss today with you all is the sustainability sector. um, do you guys know how many plastic bottles are thrown uh, every 5 minutes or every minute? Like, do you guys have an idea about that? Because we hear a lot that there's some damage happening to the environment, there's this happening, there's that happening, but any idea on how many plastic bottles are thrown every minute? Million bottles in a minute, Anaga. Okay, you're close enough. So there are 5 million single-use plastic bottles that are discarded every year, right? And that's data according to the United Nations, and it indicates this heavy use of plastic that we have. And if we continue at this pace by the year 2050, oceans will be home for plastic rather than, the animals that live in the ocean. Can you guys tell me what are the aspects of sustainability? What are the three main aspects of sustainability? What does sustainability look at?
Ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Sustainability, it needs to look at the health and status of everything.
Okay.
Is it below average? Is it above average? We need to put that sustainability to a level where everything is normal.
Okay.
And another thing, it needs to control wild things. Like if there are big problems, suppose there is a sustainability sector, it needs to control all the wild things are happening, like our pollution and all that stuff.
Right.
And third thing, we have to look at everyone's mental aspect too. A little into medical, I know, but everyone should also be in a good state of mind. Otherwise, if people have psychological problems, they might do something crazy, and that one small act of craziness can actually cause a big problem.
Right. So, just to, put it in a nutshell or to put it inside it, sustainability looks at the environmental factors, like you rightly said. It looks at the social factors of things, and it also looks at the economics of things, right? So these are some main aspects that sustainability looks at. Now, could you guys tell me what are some business ideas that can come out of sustainability if we are keeping in mind that there are these three main aspects of sustainability? Or what are some ideas uh, that have really hit off in India in this field of sustainability? Anything to do with farming, anything to do with organic? Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I'm looking at more the aspect of pollution, ma'am, and sustainability. One
Okay.
is the plastic bottles. It is killing our ocean animals, and all this the production of plastic is releasing very extremely harmful chemicals into the environment. Oil will damage soil. We'll eat poison food. We'll drink poison water, and if the animals also eat poisonous food, we'll also get poisoned by meat. And our earth
Okay.
will become into a complete wasteland.
Okay. So that's a very big view, right? And that's slightly on the extreme side of things. Sorry, Ramana, you had raised a hand. Do you want to add something? No? Okay.
Ma'am, nowadays
Yeah.
we are using organic manure, ma'am.
Okay. And how can that help us? It's okay, you can answer. I mean, there are no right or wrong answers. You can give it a shot. So, does that, organic manure, does that help solve the problem that Sanskriti said we had? That there's a lot of, inorganic things that we're doing. There's a lot of, we're potentially moving towards living in a poisonous environment. So, do you think organic manure can solve any of the problems that Sanskriti
Ma'am,
shared?
ma'am, organic is manure. Ma'am, like organic is very good for our health, ma'am. Eat
Okay.
organic things, ma'am.
All right. So, have you guys heard of Urban Kisan? So basically, sorry, you were saying something, Ramana? No. Okay. So basically, Urban Kisan is a company that was started in 2017, right? They were creating, they were helping, basically, they were a platform where they were helping urban farmers create a complete transparent chain of business and decreasing the carbon footprint of the sort of business that we do. They were helping save 95% water and yet increase the growth by 30% compared to the traditional farms that we had. They even had home kits, so they even provide home kits where you can grow your own gardens of food. I mean, you can grow your own food in your gardens. Any other ideas in sustainability? Maybe 12th graders can answer this. Anybody? Yes, Sanskriti. I see somebody coming. Okay, go ahead, Sanskriti.
And if we look at present day news, the war between Russia and Ukraine is still going on, and that is actually affecting the whole world because Ukraine is actually one of the world's biggest grain producers. So from that aspect point of view, we need to solve wars and create peace, because then because of that war, economy is going down, and there's also food shortage.
Okay. So is there a business idea there? Is there something that we could do there to, I mean, how can we solve this problem that you're suggesting?
What we can do, ma'am, we have to like Ukraine is kind of vulnerable right now. So instead we have to look at Russia then. So we have to convince the president of Russia, Mr. Putin, to hold off the war.
Right. Okay. And do you think it's an easy task?
It is not an easy task convincing.
Okay. All right. And if you had to convince him, what would you tell him?
I don't think he actually might listen to me. I mean, he could listen to half of my thing, but I don't know if he would take full consideration. So
Okay.
instead, it's better that if somebody that Mr. Putin sir values a lot, like has a lot of respect for. Instead, if that person tells him, he could have more consideration of stopping the war.
That's a very interesting point to look at, and that's a very smart thing to do. So you do realize that he might not listen to us because he does not know us, but if he could reach out to somebody that he respects and convey this message via them, he might actually listen and then say, stop the war.
Yeah, ma'am. And
Very
if
good,
we stop
Sanskriti.
the war, then after a few years, the world will be at peace again.
That's a very nice thought to have. Ramana, you had also raised your hand.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, when we cut the vegetables, we get the peels, ma'am. We should not throw them in the dustbin, ma'am. We can use it as an organic
Compost.
manure for plants and crops, ma'am. We can
Okay.
collect it from everyone, ma'am. With
Right.
that, we can have a big business, ma'am.
So if for example, if you had to do this in your apartment complex, that you're creating a compost for all the vegetable waste, how would you go about it? How would you pitch this business idea? I mean, why would anybody give you their waste? Even though it is a waste, why would they give it to you? How would you convince them? I'll help you. Go on.
We can convince them about the organic manure, and we can keep a separate bin to keep all of the things, ma'am.
Okay, but how are you going to convince them? Like, Sanskriti said that we should reach out to somebody who Mr. Putin respects. So what do you think? How will, say, 30 adults in your apartment get convinced to start this?
Ma'am, we have a meeting room, ma'am. We can get together and we can talk a meeting about it, ma'am.
Okay. And so can you tell them that, if you do this, it will be better for the future? Or if you say something like, just by doing this, you're going to save the earth, or what is their benefit? Why should I can just throw away all my waste in one dustbin? Why should I keep the vegetable waste separately from my plastic waste? What is my benefit in doing so? Do you think you can have a point system where, every month you give certain points, like, how on Snapchat we have snap streaks. So for 30 days consistently, if somebody, separates their waste and donates it to the organization that will start, we can recognize their efforts and give them, praise them for that. Do you think that will convince them? Maybe a little? No? Do you think that's not enough? How about, is there a business idea in reusing plastic bottles? Have you guys seen any stories or YouTube videos on how plastic bottles are being reused into, making different things? What are some of the things that are happening, Sanskriti? You
Yes,
are, yeah,
yeah, like a lot of YouTubers and the ones that care actually for recycling, they
right?
they turn plastic items into decorations. They turn
Okay,
plastic items into decorations. Some might even like encourage to crush up your plastic bottles after use and throw them in the proper recycling bin. Okay, I mean
right,
this because there are three types of recycling bins. You can't just throw plastic bottle into any one you like. One is
right,
for compost, and one is for specifically plastic, and one is for glass. So you
right,
have to remember to put it in the plastic like that. They will try to convince, and some might be influenced. But one of the major problems is the state of mind, because as now in the modern day world, I see many people, and they like to speak practically, they don't really care much about the environment. I mean, if I say it, they'll just think that, oh, this little girl is saying it, why should we even listen to her? And that is their thing in the minds. So the idea cannot move forward unless they will actually be properly convinced.
right. And yeah, that's a good way to go about it. So, essentially, these are some, these are some ideas. And tell me, Sanskriti and Ramana and others, right? Have you guys, do you guys have any ideas for the competition? Have you submitted your ideas already? Where are you guys with that? Nobody? I can see a lot of heads getting nodded in grade 12. Any help that you guys need in coming up with ideas? Yes, no? Is this boring?
Actually, we have ideas and we are still working on that thing.
Okay. And would you guys need any support from our end to help you, form those ideas or, polish them up so that you can submit them? Or would you guys need any, would you like it if there was a special class done only for your school to, kickstart these efforts?
Yes, we would like on the topic like sustainability, we could like have another session just about the sustainability things.
Okay, so I could arrange that. I will talk to, I just one second, there's somebody in the room. We could definitely arrange that maybe next Saturday, or we could, there is another Ask Me Anything session that's happening. Maybe you can join that session as well if you guys have any questions. In regards to healthcare or sustainability, any questions that you all have now that I can answer? Or even if it's not sustainability and healthcare, any business ideas that you have but you're not submitting yet because you have some doubts that I can clear? Just one second, Sanskriti, there's somebody asking. I'll come back to you. Please go ahead.
What are the criteria for the report, or like what do you expect in the project from us, from our side?
So in the first round, I only expect a business idea that you have, basically telling me that this is the gap in the market and with my business idea, I am going to solve this particular problem. For example, hypothetically speaking, let's assume that the problem is school students have a difficulty reaching the school, uh, uh, difficulty traveling, because there's no other option. They either have to walk. So maybe your business idea could be, can we carpool, or can we have, I mean, this already exists, but just assuming that this idea does not exist. So then your solution to this problem of commute can be the school coming up with school buses, so that they can pick everybody from a particular stop, right? So you share the problem that exists in your target audience, who is your audience, and how is your idea going to solve that problem. And potentially what you could also look at is, what will it need for your idea to go live. For example, you have the problem, you have the solution. Like, what problem is Big Basket solving? Big Basket is solving the problem that you know uh, elders or adults who are working, they don't have time to do grocery shopping. So what the problem that Big Basket is solving is, you can order online and then they deliver it at home, right? But for that entire business, for that idea to get executed, there are so many parts, right? You have to form the company, you have to do partnerships with supermarkets, you have to have delivery vendors who will pick up that, you'll have to have an app to track all of this, you have to have a platform where the money is being paid, there are escrow payments and all that. So just thinking far ahead in the future, thinking of all the things that you will need to take this business idea live. If you guys could share all of that in, say, one simple document, right? That should be good. At least for the first stage, it should be good. Uh, have I answered the question?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Any other questions? No? Sanskriti, you had a question?
Yes, ma'am. Especially for round one exactly, are you going to assign us a problem, a situation, and we have to answer to it, or or we have to make our own situation, which is actually there in real life, and give an answer to it?
Yes, so you'll have to come up with a real life situation that you see, right? So, for example, one idea could be, you see that there are a lot of animals in your apartment, like there are a lot of dogs who need walking, but then they're not getting that regular walking because their owners are quite busy. So, can you come up with a business plan where you take them walking every day, right? At a certain cost, or at a certain exchange of something. So you get a chocolate every day, you take them walking, or you get somebody to do that. So these are some I mean, we don't ideally need original ideas, and or existing ideas, but a different way of solving them. So if you were the owner of Big Basket, how would you solve the problem that Big Basket is trying to solve? You could add a layer of sustainability, that maybe what Big Basket is doing is not sustainable, because there's a lot of carbon footprint that's being left because of the delivery vehicles and all that. So how are you going to solve that sustainably? So these are some of the things that you could do.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. And in the medical sector, as we have discussed earlier in class, ma'am, I would just like to say, like, the making more, getting equipment from foreign countries, right?
Right.
I like everybody, I think that everybody might have agreed to it, but I'm just not that sure about the idea, because then if we need a lot of equipment, because there are millions of hospitals around India who need more beds, because there are millions of Indian citizens also who need them. So if we get from other countries, like, India will be in debt. And so instead, I thought that instead of getting it from the others, I'm not saying that we have to mine the earth more and destroy earth's valuable minerals. Instead, why don't we take our plastic and recycle it into a form that is a bed, and we can use beds like that. Those oxygen tanks like that. We can make all sorts of equipment out of our waste.
Right. So I think a good way to go about this particular idea, Sanskriti, would be just doing a quick research, market research on how can you make beds out of sustainable plastic, or how could you take plastic waste to convert into beds. Then you also will have to see, are these beds safe for patients, for medically ill patients, right? Because we don't want any cross contamination, we don't want them to get any further diseases from the beds, from recyclable beds, right? So if you could figure these problems out, right, so even for the solution that you want to provide, there will be certain pain points. So can you address and solve those pain points, right? So then you can, and then you can further start working on the idea that, okay, then how will I at my lowest cost make the best possible outcome? So with very little investment from my end, how can I make this into a reality, right? So that's how you can go ahead. In case you have this idea, that's how you can go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So assuming that nobody else has a question, uh, do we wrap this session up? I will quickly drop my email ID in the chat. So in case you all have questions, you can either write to me, or I will also just give my WhatsApp number. You can message me, call me. So it was great interacting with all of you. Any questions, please feel free to write or call me. Shall we wrap this up now? No other questions from anybody's end. Is everybody happy that we are wrapping it up? All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. And I hope I get to see all your ideas.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye.